Hello?
Hello?
How the fuck are ya?
How the fuck am I? Oh, is that you, Brucey?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, mate. How's it going?
Yeah, alright, well, you know, down on the luck.
Down in the... Oh, what happened, mate? Just open a goon sack. You'll be right.
Oh, fucking love a goon sack.
Yeah, I bet you do, and you gob, don't you? Fucking loser.
Yeah. Bloody oath. So how many kids you got now? You still pregnant or what? You having a drink still?
Mind your business. That's my box you're talking about. What about you? You're popping them out like bloody Skittles.
Bloody love Skittles.
Yeah, I bet you do, mate.
Yeah, so, oh, bloody, my tooth's hurting. I'm gonna go to the fucking dentist. It's gonna cost me a fucking fortune.
Why? What happened?
Oh, you know, too much meth.
Oh, shit. No wonder you're in the Centrelink line. You just can't get your shit together.
No, I'm addicted, you know.
Oh, shit.
Well, I've got to get some fucking smokes. Fucking smokes.
Oh, I better get those stubby holders
Hey,
and the
can you
flannelette
transfer me
shirt.
some money?
You want some money now? How much do you want?
Oh, how much you got? How much you get for your disability allowance?
My disability, I can give you a solid $1, mate.
What are you, fucking cheapskate?
Yeah, you can go buy some, 50-cent cones from Maccadees.
Oh, fuck that. Fuck that. I want some fucking cocaine.
Oh, you can
You
get
got
some...
some of that?
No, you should get some proper clothes. You're always in those Ugg boots and jeans and leggings and bloody bungee smugglers and flannelette
You
shirts.
love them. My bum look good.
Oh, your bum look good. You got 2 asses instead of 1, mate.
Yeah. Takes one to know one, you whale.
Oh, shit. Well, that was fun.
Yeah. So, Jess, that was probably the most offensive way to start off the podcast.
Just very negative and stereotypical.
Yeah. So, we're obviously going to be talking this episode about how to be more bogan. So, do you want to give me some tips and pointers of what you think it is to be bogan and how everyone has a little bit of bogan in them? Because that's my theory.
Well, according to Wikipedia, some features regularly associated with bogan stereotype include residing in the outer working class suburbs of larger cities, having teeth that have not had dental care due to cost, having an authoritarian stance, as well as being interested in classic rock music like Jimmy Barnes. What's the other one?
Jimmy Barnes?
Yeah, Jimmy Barnes. What else? What else is some Aussie classics? Johnny Farnham.
Oh, yeah, Johnny Farnham.
Hoon driving as well and excessive alcohol consumption.
Daryl.
Braithwaite.
Way. Horses, that's so bogan.
That's the way it's gonna be, little darling.
Darling, we go riding on them horses, yeah, yeah.
Every pub, every event, every footy match.
Everything. It's always the same songs.
I'm not surprised if they change Advance Australia Fair to... I always thought it would be Waltzing Matilda, but I think Daryl Braithwaite is coming in real close.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're on the money there.
Money.
So, yeah, I kind of agree with it a little bit. So, tell me about some of the bogans you've met in your life.
Well, they always have, let's say, a Holden or a Commodore, or they're even arguing against...
True.
They're either strictly Holden or strictly Commodore, and they're just fighting it out. Or they have a HSV or a Ford Falcon. They love a good goon sack. They love a good pint at the end of the day. Their guts hanging out with like a tank top with a mullet.
Yeah, the mullet's classic.
Yeah, classic.
Do you want to describe the mullet to people who don't know what a mullet is?
Well, back in the day, in the 80s, there was a hairdo called the mullet where you shave the top and the sides and you grow it long at the back. Yeah. And that was the classic, and then it curls at the end, yeah? No styling required, it just curls at the end. And that was the going rate in the 80s. It was such a trend.
I think like Miley Cyrus brought it back.
Yeah, she
a lot
did.
of people are bringing it back. It's back in fashion at the moment.
Yeah.
Everyone's all about it. I think Troye Sivan has one now. Yeah, it's very much the rage. It's back in fashion. Everyone's kind of getting into it.
But our bogans...
embracing the boganism.
Were always... That was their go-to do, isn't it? Even to this day, whenever you go past anywhere, not just selling.
Bazza, they both wear it. They both rock it.
Oh, Shazza and Bazza.
Yeah.
Nice. Even like shortening people's names, isn't it? Their last names.
Yeah.
I got called Vinny.
Oh, yeah. Vinny.
And then Jesso. I got Jesso. Every once in a while. Yeah.
That's very much, yeah. Shadow. Smoko. Siggy.
And they're normally chain smokers. They smoke all day long. They're either not even buying smokes. They take it to the next level and just get, they roll a dart.
Smoke break. I don't need a smoke break. I'm stressed. I need a smoke break. I can't work under these conditions. I'm going to have a smoke.
Where's me filter paper and my tobacco, my loose tobacco, so I can roll a joint?
Yeah. I think that's very much it. And, always going on smoke breaks when they can. It's always the boss's fault.
Always everyone else is the problem. I'm not the problem.
Yeah.
It's the world is the problem in my, fluoro workwear or my Ugg boots and jeans or black leggings and flannelette shirts or far out.
Yeah. Also, a bit of like, I also kind of equate it to like a larrikin as well, like someone who's wants to joke around, someone who doesn't take things seriously.
Even in a serious situation, they're strictly, don't worry about it, mate. She'll be right.
Yeah. And someone who sticks up for someone who is the underdog. If they're an underdog, they'll stick up for them. But if they're a big person, like the boss or someone with some money, he's a this and that. Yeah.
Could be threatened, isn't it, by someone that's higher authority?
Yeah. I think that's right, yeah.
And like always going to Kmart, I would say, is another one.
Kmart, yeah.
I love
Wherever
Kmart.
you can get a bargain.
Yeah.
Likes the simple things like a parma.
Yeah, parma with cheese. Lee's the salad.
Parmy or parma, as you say, they're all different. The bogans have different rules depending on where in Australia they are.
So a parma is kind of like a parmigiana for people that don't know what we're talking about. The chicken with, like the Italian chicken fillet with cheese and sauce, I would say.
Yeah, like tomato paste, tomato like pasta sauce,
Yeah.
They
could smoke weed if they wanted to. Not preferable, shouldn't do it, but
exclusively that. They could be doing ice, they could be doing meth, they could be doing anything really. A bogan's pretty open to having a good time and a party.
Yeah.
Hey, and if you're providing it, I can't say no, mate. Twist love.
Yeah. And they sometimes go on their own to parties, isn't it? And just get high and they're just in the corner making inappropriate remarks.
Yeah, so if you were to be more bogan, Jess, what are some of the things you would do?
What would I do? Oh, my goodness. I'll probably use the C word. I don't like the C word.
I don't like the C word either, but that is an appropriate way.
I'll have me...
It's also a term of endearment for the bogan, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the last thing...
Yeah, can't.
Yeah, the last thing, whatever sentence, it could be a positive sentence and then you get the C word at the end.
You're all right, aren't you, cunt?
Yeah, be right. Don't worry. I can't even say it. It's just... I hate it. Or drinking a VB.
You don't like it?
I like drinking a VB.
Oh, yeah.
If I was I'd have the mullet. I'd have one tooth missing. I'll do that.
Yeah.
The flannelette shirt. Or like I'd rip the sleeves off and just have like...
I do think you've got to have a bit of, I agree with you. And I also agree you've got to have like either like tradie shorts on or footy shorts and then a bit of an ass crack hang.
Oh.
Your gut's showing and a bit of an ass crack.
What about a tramp stamp?
All that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Some thongs flapping around.
Yeah, thongs, not like as in like for our international listeners, flip-flops.
True.
That's what you would call them, or sandals.
Mm.
Yeah.
Not the undies, all right?
Not women's underwear on their feet.
What about you, maybe, James?
Yeah.
If you had to dress up as a bogan, well, did you come across many bogans in your time?
I definitely think the mullet is the way to go. It's just traditional Aussie, some fluoro or a singlet, like you said, tradie shorts or footy shorts, and then a smoke. I think your ciggy is pretty important, like in your top pocket if you're wearing... Oh, you got to maybe wear... ciggies in your top pocket or something like that if you've got a top pocket. What else? I guess tattoos, the Southern Cross maybe.
Oh, that's back. A good one. Yeah.
Talking about my car and how much I like it, and going to drag meetings like drag racing and hooning and the fines I got and how much they're fucking dogs, police, and Centrelink, and how much money I'm scheming. I love a bet. I love Aussie music. I'm short on everything. If you're from Italy or Greece, I go, oh, you fucking wog. Or if you're Chinese, I call you, what do they call them? What's it called? It's really uneducated kind of bogan term.
It's really not what we support on this podcast at all.
Yes.
Just putting it out there.
We don't support any of this. This is just us stating what a bogan is.
Yeah.
I don't like that food. I think they're very much like that too.
Oh, true. Whenever they go outside of their normal ruts.
Like, no, I just like a Parma. I just don't like fried rice.
Yeah. Oh, it's like that.
I can't eat that stuff.
That scene
like curry
from,
stuff. That's just not me.
What was it? The Castle, and she puts salt and pepper, and he's like, "Whoa, that's amazing."
I think that's kind of your go-tos, isn't it? And like tomato sauce, like Dead Horse.
Mm.
Pie 4 and 20.
Yeah,
you stick to your originals. You got your Tim Tams. You like your Tim Tams. You like your Milos. You're just very. What's the word? Wheat Bix. You're very. You stick to what you know.
Yeah. Even the Milo is kind of like a dessert where people don't even put it in milk. They just open the tin and just have at it with a spoon.
Absolutely.
Something to do. Like, I remember putting, like, you have your vanilla ice cream and then you put Milo on top, and it was, like, the greatest thing.
I think that's very bogan.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah, 100%. Having your sultanas in those little... I hate sultanas, and I used to chuck them, like, at people, but... That's another story. But you know those little containers of sultanas you get, like, in primary school?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate them. But that's typical. I think that's an Australian. Even, like, roll-ups.
Yeah. I think that's very Australian.
Even, like, our catchphrases are one of a kind. Like, fair dinkum and...
Yeah. She'll be right.
She'll be right. No worries, mate. She'll be right. Oh, there's so many.
It's like we're saying that there is a problem because it's always no worries.
Yeah, the world can be burning
Don't
around
worry.
you.
There's always a negative term. Not bad.
Yeah. Tell him he's dreaming.
Yeah. Tell him. That should go to the pool room.
What a classic movie.
Yeah, I think the castle kind of sets up like the ultimate like wholesome Bogan family.
Yeah. And even like Bruce Banner, isn't it? Is in it and he has like a mullet. Is it Bruce? What's his name? Banner. Eric Banner. Bruce Banner.
Eric, yeah. I was like, what? Yeah.
Even Muriel's Wedding is another classic. Bloody, what's his name? The guy with the knife.
Who?
That Paul Hogan. What's his like role? Crocodile Dundee.
Yes. That ain't a knife. This is a knife.
Yes. Even like having that necklace with like the crocodile tooth is kind of like an Aussie thing.
Yeah. That's like, I would say almost goes more into like the legend of like an Australian kind of, I don't know, more like a wildlife person, I guess.
And then you get like Steve Irwin, who's a Aussie legend.
Yeah.
And
just
his
like
children are exactly the
Bogan
same.
blokes, but just like, I would say that's more like true blokes, where when I think Bogan, I think it's almost more a negative connotation.
Where's the positive, isn't it? Where is the positive?
I don't know. I think you got to try and find positives.
You have to.
I guess like a good thing about a Bogan is like they often are unapologetically themselves.
They own that shit.
Yeah. They're proud. They're very much into Australia and what they like.
Who's the chicks? Like, if we had to name... I can only think of, like, actresses, but if I had to name, like... What, Kath and Kim?
Oh, Bogan.
Bogans, yeah? Kath and Kim. Oh. I'm trying to think.
I think that's, like, a prime example. And also the dynamic between them.
Yeah, even,
They love to, another thing we didn't really talk about is, like, I guess the female Bogan, which we're kind of touching on now with Kath and Kim. It's very much about, you know, Tajay, just that little bit of refinement, but also cheapness.
Yeah, which Tajay is Target. It's a shopping centre. What is it? It's a store.
Yeah.
That Aussies had now nicknamed Tajay to make it classy, but it's still the upper class of Kmart.
Yeah, it's like a bougie Kmart.
A bougie Kmart. I like how you said that. Because it's true.
Yeah.
Nah. It's actually interesting every once in a while, like when you go around towns, like St Kilda, I think it was the last time that I witnessed someone just completely off their face and looked like an absolute bogan with no shoes. I think was taking drugs. It was actually quite sad, actually. And she was just wandering around on the road. She had like a ponytail, not done up very well. Had a crop top on. That's another one, isn't it? Crop tops, short and then short shorts.
Yeah. With
a cigarette in her fingers. And just talking at nothing and then swearing every once in a while.
Yeah. Do you think there's like I guess there's variations of bogan though, isn't there? Because you can have a very much like a refined kind of bogan, someone who drinks rosé, someone who works, you know, in government, someone who makes a fair bit of money.
Yeah, that's respectable.
Yeah, but there's this, I guess, this country side to her where she doesn't want to follow the mainstream. She's allowed to be outspoken. She's allowed to be a bit of a larrikin. She's allowed to be one of the blokes when she wants to. She's allowed to have a beer if she wants. She's, what's the word? Knows how to have a good time.
Yeah.
And to mould themselves into fitting into that real country Australia kind of white Australia country bogan life.
Yeah. And that's just it though, isn't it? Like, even what am I trying to say? For the people with different cultures in them, like even me, like I grew up in Australia, it's all I know.
Yeah.
It's also good to incorporate, now they're probably people with other cultures as well.
Yeah.
With their bogan attributes, yeah.
It's kind of interesting when you say that, because there's like people who I know like from like an Indian background, and then like there's moments where I'm like, you're really bogan. Like, yes, you come from, another place and you've only been in Australia a little bit, but you've kind of picked up on like,
it's kind of even Asians,
the laid backness. That's like, oh, she'll be right. Don't worry about it. Like they embrace what they like about the culture. It's like in the workplace, they'll often say to me, oh, no, don't worry about it. Don't stress. That's tomorrow's problem.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's very Australian. And then, like, also, the whole COVID thing, they'll be in there, like, tracky dacks coming into the office. And I'm just like, oh, wow. Like, obviously they're embracing a little bit of boganism, like, coming into the workplace in their, like, nice Nikes and tracky dacks.
Yeah.
Just saying, like, yeah.
It just rubs off. It's just what your environment is, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you were to grow up in like everything needs to be serious and you take every day seriously, more than likely you will end up like that too.
Totally.
It's quite interesting.
Totally.
Very interesting. And I thought this would be a fun topic to talk about,
Yeah. And I think also another thing that I think is very like bogan is I guess the kind of the relationship between able to like talk to a hairdresser, be like, oh, you bloody rip me off. How much is this haircut gonna be? Like, it's very much like kind of what you'd see like a bit going on like anywhere, like the relationship between like your bartender, the person who serves you, there's this like ability to be able to call them whatever you want to call them, and they call you back something, just as like your jerk or your idiot or something like that,
like,
what I mean?
Yeah. And it's acceptable.
Yeah, or you cunt.
Yeah. Completely
and it's just like, what? You can't call people like in other cultures that's not allowed. Where here it's like the tall poppy syndrome. It's like I can cut down whoever I want. Like when I'm a bogan, it's just like we're all the same. No one's better than anyone else, and if they think they are, they're not.
Yeah, and they have a problem with people that want to do, better for themselves. It's got nothing to do with anything. Like it's just that person just trying to do better for themselves, and they get torn down.
But I think that's very much like the culture of bogans in terms of their home environment, what they've learned and what they've grown up with. It's very much never, ever, like, stay humble. Don't ever, don't ever think that you're too good.
Get bigger for your boots, yeah.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
And it's like we like those sports people like Ash Barty because of that humbleness.
Yeah.
Where with the other boys, like Mercurius and stuff, it's like, oh, he's a wanker, blah, 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 yeah.
I saw him, right? A couple of years back, and I'll never forget it. I was in one of the rows, and this lady. She would have been in her 50s, 40s. She sneezed, and he was about to serve, and he was like, "Come on!" And he yelled at her. And I was just like 2 rows back from that lady, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, wow, hey?
So many people have given him tips, but, you know, maybe in time he'll mellow down.
Maybe, or maybe we'll just get angry.
Yeah, and we'll just move on to Ash Party.
Yeah.
There'll be someone else. It's kind of like McEnroe back in the day. What, the 80s and 90s? It was McEnroe. What they used to think was just out of line. I remember my mum going, "You should have seen McEnroe back in the day. You think this Kyrgios guy is bad? You have no idea. No idea. I used to watch it on the telly." And every now and again, then my dad used to be like, "Yeah, McEnroe was shocking." And then you go on YouTube and actually look at the clips and you're like, you know what?
You can't be serious!
Yeah, he wasn't as bad as I thought he was, but for his time, he was really bad.
Yeah.
He
was a bit of a spoiled little brat, really.
I have no idea about McEnroe. Like, what's his background?
I don't know, but he kind of gives that impression from it, though. It's just like he's just got no, like, he 100% agrees that, like, he's right and that, like, you know, the ball was out if it was out or it was in or...
You know what? You kind of need that attitude, though, if you're going to be a pushover, especially in sport. But there's a way to be, like, gentlemanly about it.
Yeah,
so to speak.
He didn't have it. There was, like, this rashness and kind of self-entitlement there.
Yeah. It, like
I'm entitled to win this point, and, like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
You're incompetent. Yeah.
It's kind of like you need, like, an amount of arrogance to get ahead in the game, but at the same time, it's to be a gentleman and be appreciative of your sport that you've cultivated.
Yeah, 100%.
So many. Even, like, I used to watch, I remember growing up watching Grant Hackett and Ian Thorpe, and that was the highlight of my life. When it was them competing, and, like, Thorpe would just be, like, a hand. He, like, wins by a hand, and Grant Hackett is right behind him. Like, that was the best. Like, the Olympics were the best when it was those two.
Yeah.
And, like, he tried to get back in the game, isn't it, Ian Thorpe, and he couldn't?
Yeah.
He couldn't even qualify, like, once you're out of the game.
Yeah. He had grown older as well and, you know, not been keeping up, like, all these practices and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that makes it a lot harder.
Yeah. But he peaked at the time he was meant to.
Definitely. He was in his prime.
Oh, it's just been announced. We will enter a 5-day snap lockdown from midnight tonight.
Oh, of course it's been announced, just as we're on air. Guys, we're entering into another 5-day snap lockdown. I think it will go a bit longer, maybe 2 weeks, do you reckon?
Oh my god. I don't even want to, like, count the chickens before they hatch. Because I did that last time, and then we were out of that 5-day lockdown. That one was 5-day, yeah? The last one?
I thought it went for 2 weeks.
I can't remember. There's so many bloody lockdowns here in Melbourne.
I can't remember either. You know when it's like they all merge?
Yeah.
We're up to lockdown number 5.
Yeah.
So, hooray, guys. We're going into another one.
I have a feeling this is going to be the going rate for a long time.
Yeah, quite a long time. I don't think we'll be going overseas anytime soon. I think it's just going to be the COVID norm.
Yeah, and then we'll get all vaccinated, and then there'll be these certain strains where they have no vaccine for, and then we'll be back to square one.
Yeah, so what will happen, we'll get a new strain, we won't have a booster shot for it, so then we'll all just go back into lockdown again until we get the booster shot. Which I kind of find so interesting how people have been so easily being like, in terms of science, being like, we will just put our lives on hold every single time this thing gets out of control because we believe in science and we believe in the healthcare experts to figure out a solution promptly so that we can live our lives. And we just have to do it a little bit longer each time.
Oh, I honestly have a headache. And I think we should have
But to be honest with you, I think like we're heading towards a future. I think where enough's enough. We have to learn to live with this, and we have to learn that, hey, you know, we got to look at some other countries around the world that are opening up and are willing to accept that, hey, guys, a part of life is dying, and there's going to always be casualties with viruses, with diseases. Like, just because alcohol kills a lot of people each time in drunk driving, in, you know, all these things, doesn't stop us from going out and, you know, partying, us going out drinking, even though it causes a lot of cancers, causes a lot of harm in our society. We still do it every time. There's a component of risk in life, and I think understandably that the healthcare officials are like, okay, but this is different. It is different because it's a virus and it spreads from person to person very easily, and people get infected very easily.
Yeah.
But it's going to have to be one of those things, though. We look at the Spanish flu that infected so many people. We weren't reporting it back in the day. Probably millions more people died from it than we will ever know.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things that we just go, every year there's a new strain of the flu. We've got an injection for it based on where you are in the world and based on the previous strands that were in, you know, in Melbourne. And this will be the thing. And I think it's got to move in that direction with COVID-19. It's got to move to one of those things where, hey, the Delta strand's this one. Here's the vaccine for this season. We need, you know, the most vulnerable in our community to be vaccinated, and those who work in spaces where they're often dealing with heaps of people, in high, heavy concentrated area, you're the type of people that we need to get vaccinated. So then they get vaccinated, and then it'll be the next year. Hey, here's the new strand. This is the thing. It's got to be one of those things that we move towards that model, because to be honest, I don't think it's the right move to continually lock down people when a lot of people already suffering from mental health problems, anxiety problems, financial problems in terms of their businesses. And that's like my plea to the governments of the world, is that you've got to move to the model of, hey, it's a novel virus like influenza. It'll be around forever. It's going to be one of those things that we have to contain, but there will be deaths. And I feel the whole world, it keeps on hinging itself on that there'll be no deaths. But obviously, if you look at the UK with a highly vaccinated, rate of people, there's still deaths even amongst the vaccinated people. And that will just be a matter of fact when you are dealing with a virus. A virus's nature is never to kill someone. It's to live and thrive within living people. But it's the nature of a beast. Often viruses trigger other responses in certain people that kill them.
There you go.
That's my little rant.
Imagine if this does get listened to. You never know.
Imagine. I just want people to know I'm coming from it from my understanding of what a novel virus is. And I feel a lot of people don't understand that we've never had a vaccine for a novel virus that 100% creates immunity for everyone and everyone survives.
That's
so I think that idea of that everyone with a vaccine is all safe and the world continues needs to be a bit, have a reality check. Hey, the reality is that that's impossible.
Well, we'll see in good time, of course, won't we?
Yeah, definitely.
As to how this is going to actually be carried out in the future.
Yeah, we'll see, because we're living it. And this podcast is only a year old, but we'll see what the next year holds, won't we, Jess?
No, we won't. We will, definitely. We're going to see, as the weeks go by, how this is going to progress. So stay tuned, and thank you for listening. And
remember to be more bogan, because being more bogan can be classy too. Those mullets can be pretty classy, don't you think?
I agree. Coming back. All right, James.
Bye.
Bye.